Hello, my name is Dietmar Sternad. I am the author of Effective Management, Developing Yourself, Others and Organizations, published by Red Globe Press. For many of us, COVID-19 has quite radically changed the way we work. Working from our home office has become a common experience. This new work setting also poses new challenges for managers and team leaders. And in this short video, I will just highlight a few of the most common issues that team leaders face in what is called a virtual team. So a group of people who collaborate mainly through electronic communication channels. Well, one of the main issues here is that it can be so much more difficult to build personal relationships online. There is no virtual water cooler, no small talk at the copy machine, no online canteen. You have for sure experienced yourself that socializing with your colleagues, an informal chat here and there, can be a very important factor for building trust, and therefore also for becoming fully productive as a well-functioning team. At the same time, and that is closely related with the trust building too, social cohesion is often lower in virtual teams. People could feel less attached to other team members they do not meet or even do not know in person. This can also lead to a lower level of commitment to the teamwork. Creating team spirit is also much more difficult in virtual teams where you do not have a chance to spend your coffee break together. Another common issue in virtual teams is miscommunication. There are misunderstandings in face-to-face teams too, of course, yet it is even more difficult if you cannot interpret the mimics and gestures of other team members in video conferences, or if they are just short text messages that you need to interpret. So what can leaders of remote teams do to tackle these common challenges of building personal relationships online, of creating and maintaining a team spirit despite a lack of face-to-face encounters, and of miscommunication? Well, based on research in the field of leading virtual teams, but also on many discussions that I had with leaders of remote teams and my own experience during the last few months of the COVID crisis, I would have at least two recommendations for leaders of virtual teams. Recommendation number one is create space for informal communication. Whether it is a dedicated WhatsApp group in which your team can discuss non-work related issues, a short daily coffee call in which you virtually have coffee together, a short one-to-one call in which you ask your individual team members how they are doing, or just a few minutes before or after an official video conference meeting in which you give team members the opportunity to reconnect personally with a bit of small talk. It is important that the team members feel that you and the other team members also care for them as individuals. This can really help to establish trust and enhance team cohesion. And then, recommendation number two, ensure clarity in communication. There is one case study in my book about Collis to Eid, a very successful manager of a team with a lot of remote workers at Envato, an Australian marketplace for the creative community. When he was asked after 10 years in business what he now knows about management that he wished he had known 10 years earlier, he said, "I wish I understood how important it is to be clear with people. Clear with goals, clear about feedback, and clear about expectations." This actually goes two ways. Being crystal clear about your own intention is important, but also listening well to better understand the other team members. It is much better to ask once more before making premature assumptions about what others think or mean. Well, that's just the start, of course, but with a dedicated space for informal communication and more clarity in communication in general, we already make the first important steps to overcome at least some of the most common deficits of teamwork over a distance. You can also find a lot more information about leading global virtual teams and about effective management and leadership in general in my textbook. And I wish you and your teams all the best and a lot of success in achieving your goals also in these more challenging times, regardless of whether you are working remotely or face-to-face.